Hello and welcome to the PEX Networks webinar with HCL Software. Today, our conversation is about maximizing efficiency, the power of integrated business orchestration and business flow observability. As organizations strive for efficiency and adaptability in a rapidly changing landscape, the synergy between these two critical components has never been more essential. Today, we will explore how effective orchestration can streamline operations while business observability provides the necessary insights to enhance decision-making and drive performance. Our expert speakers will share real-world examples, best practices, and actionable strategies to help you leverage this integration for transformative results. Let's dive in and discover how to empower your business for the future. I am Francesca Di Meglio, producer at PEX Network. I'd like to introduce you to our guests, Alexandra Thurel, AVP, Head of Product Management for Automation, DevOps, and Mainframe at HCL Software, and Ian Phillips, GM, Full Stack Observability at HCL Software. Welcome to both of you. Before I can turn this over to you, I do have to do a little bit of housekeeping. We're delighted to have a great audience with us. We want you to be very much involved in the discussion we're having. You're welcome to use the live chat to get to know one another. Share your LinkedIn profile so you can connect, share comments and stories, and ask your questions. There will be time for Q&A at the end of the webinar. At this time, I'm going to turn this over to the two of you, and I will be joining all of you in the chat.
Thank you, Francesca. Ian, it's a pleasure to have this webinar with you. I think we have some cool things to tell to the audience. But let's start a little bit with some introductions about who we are as a company. HCL Software is a large software vendor that is operating globally in more than 130 countries, as you see. I'm presently in Rome, where I think, Ian, if you're not traveling, you're in London
I'm
currently.
based in London. Yeah, pleasure to be here as well, Alexandra, and I'm looking forward to the chat today.
Yes. So as you see, our software group has a lot of solutions for customers in different, let's say, market area. Our objective is really to deliver software that helps your transformation, your digital transformation, helps customers and partners really to operate the technology that can help productivity improvement, that can help with the competitive growth in different areas. The solutions we're going to talk more about today are in particular in the AI and intelligent operations area, and some kind of specialized software that is more into that process orchestration theme that I'm going to deep dive now. A little bit of
excuse me, Alexandra, I'm sorry to interrupt. The screen share, we're not seeing the slides.
Oh, you're still in
yeah,
okay.
if you might have to reshare. I know we were backstage, it was up. I'm sorry about that.
Okay, so let me try to stop this
You
again.
click on share screen.
So let's see if that works now.
Yep.
Okay. So you didn't have a chance, so let me try to understand how I show you the previous charts. Okay, can you see HCL Software chart now? Okay, good. So the key information, aside that we are a partner of Ferrari for the fan of Formula One, right? What I was mentioning, so a global company, 1.4 billion, we serve really customers across the globe. And the key solutions we're going to focus on today are more, let's say, in the right side. So intelligent operations infused with a lot of AI capabilities, you will see, and some specialized software. So again, let's go into the automation market trends and opportunities that we see in our area. So automation is an imperative, right? In the digital transformation, customers have to leverage automation everywhere they can do it, so they can really operate that transformation that is important to jump into the new cloud initiatives, to enable the business to be faster and more agile. But these automation technologies and new technologies coming in with the kind of natural evolution of containers, of Kubernetes, of AI, bring some new challenges and opportunities, right? There will be more complexity in managing a stack of systems that is multi-cloud, hybrids, so complex for customers. And there are also some new opportunities, new practices around, for example, observability that helps to have a new way of managing all the systems and application information that comes from those heterogeneous architectures. So the problem we're seeing with customers is that the lack of convergent technology causes inefficiencies. They are islands of automation that can be solved with better orchestration. And this is one of the key areas that we are defining a solution for. HCL view is to offer a solution that helps to look at a new form of an enterprise automation journey, simplified in kind of 4 steps. First, you want to understand and simplify really your processes. And I mean, it's first, but it's also in a loop, right? Because there is a constant look for improving those processes, making them more efficient. And to make them more efficient, you need that orchestration between the islands of automation. And that orchestration needs to automate and integrate those automations together. So that's third step. And everything here can be really optimized only if you measure, only if you look at what are the key KPIs in your system that understand how efficient is really your process and your digital business transformation. So this is this digital business resiliency, that we try to achieve. You see at the bottom really some key boxes that will be deep dive a little bit more, and the horizontal GenAI capabilities, obviously, that we increasingly introducing in our technology. But basically at HCL Software, we achieve this large solution, this platform, with a combination of 2 key solutions, HCL Automation Orchestration and iControl. And this is where we are going now, into looking at those key solutions. But now, time for Paul. And I cannot vote, but I'm curious about what will be the challenge you define the biggest in your transformation. I'm sure we'll be sharing soon the results. Okay, so kind of divided, but integration of multiple systems is the number 1. Nice. This is where we want to help you in particular. So let's look at the next chart. So when we talk about integration and the view on the market, so Gartner has defined the service orchestration automation platform market that helps to really combine different critical capabilities around orchestration, and that can be event-driven type of orchestration or scheduling type of orchestration, and offering really to coordinate a very disparate typology of automation, from robotic process automation to more DevOps or infrastructure automation tools, to make some examples. Data is obviously an element where the data pipeline orchestration is becoming a hot topic for a lot of organizations. And so for that coordination, a new automation, a type of automation platform is required. And this is where, as HCL Software, we offer the Automation Orchestrator Suite, which have been recently recognized as a leader in the Gartner Magic Quadrant. We're very proud of it. And there are some really key critical capabilities where I would say the highest where we differ from others is really in our intelligent automation management. So you will see a few elements, but from the screen you have on the left, this is how we are including GenAI to help initiate the workflows and improve the workflows with GenAI recommendations. So really that assistant that will help the users who approach automation to expand the access to the integration of automations together. This is where we're leveraging, for example, GenAI. Talking about critical capabilities for process orchestration, there are different elements that are fundamental to achieve that integration of a system. You need a solution that helps to generate that orchestration. You need to model, to design that orchestration. So you need a simplified solution that helps with kind of drag and drop and GenAI enrich the possibility to map the processes. The second point is really obviously we're talking about orchestration. So you need the possibility to coordinate those tasks with different rules, with different policies, and whether it is based an orchestration based on events that needs to be real time or close to real time, or need to be more a deterministic type of orchestration, looking at the plan, thinking about how to ensure that some activities will run in the background, no matter what the new events are coming in. You need a platform that helps to combine the richest orchestration capabilities as possible. Monitoring and analytics, obviously I was mentioning before, if you don't measure, if you don't understand what you are executing, I mean, you're missing completely a part of the potential of improving your processes. So it is fundamental to have observability included into the solutions, and you will see the big advantage with Ian of those observable telemetries, the power of them with the right tool. Extensibility and integration, obviously islands of automation. How do you connect those islands of automation? You need connectors to those islands of automation. So this is a fundamental element. So the process orchestration vision that we have is to serve different use cases. And that can come from orchestrating file transfer, for example, in a multi-cloud or hybrid cloud and legacy type of environments. It's a data pipeline, as I was mentioning. You see different type of use cases that we address today with our solution. I will give a couple of, in particular, this example here, where we include in the workflow that we manage AI at different levels. AI is included into your processes. We need to be able to coordinate the execution of some intelligent part of the process that companies are defining. So maybe leveraging OpenAI or some specific cloud services or new code they are writing with that orchestration of tasks. So what we provide really is a platform that helps with a low-code, no-code type of integration. So with ready-to-use integrators, plugins, be able to call out so services for storage management, for OpenAI, AI analysis execution, but also coordinate with ticketing systems and external systems in IT that will help to capture immediately, if there is a delay, if there is an error, how to automatically create a ticket against that issue or potential issue, and unblock then the execution of the workflow once the ticket has been solved. This is fundamental to have an integration of the business task and the IT task together. And I was mentioning that AI needs to be integrated into the processes, but it needs to be integrated also in our own product, in the UI, how to deliver to you the best experience assisted with AI, so that there can be a conversational assistant, self-service capabilities that will allow users that are not automation experts to approach really orchestration and to be able to make that integration between the different systems by themselves. I mentioned integration are key. We have we call it the Automation Hub Marketplace that have 115, I think now, integrations, so more than 100 integrations in very different type of words, from the RPA orchestration, file transfer, ETL management, obviously RIP. We are certified with SAP. We have a deep integration with Oracle, PeopleSoft. I mean, those elements are fundamental really to coordinate the big systems with different applications, and again, between legacy and multi-cloud architecture. So those are really important. So as a kind of summary, right, our solution will support end-to-end process orchestration, a universe of use cases from traditional workload automation to data pipeline orchestration to new AI/ML type of orchestration. And this is where we offer the platform for orchestration, the critical capabilities of orchestration enriched with AI. Time for Paul. How important is AI/ML integration in your platform? I don't believe we will have too much of, we don't plan to use AI/ML, but let's see. Extremely important. Yeah. But still a significant number of not a priority right now. So I think people that needs to understand how AI really can prove its value, right? I'm sure, Jan, you can talk also about that element in your solution.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think, where we're going in the future is important as well, to understand how it's going to be used. I think a lot of people are still worried, and it's still there's a bit of a learning curve that has to happen there.
Yes, yes. So a few elements more on Uno, which is the core orchestrator that I'm mentioning into the Automation Orchestrator Suite I've been pitching. This is a solution that is completely cloud native. It will offer that visibility, that solution to build the models, that orchestration model. It leverages the rules engine, all that end-to-end orchestration capability in the system, and it's very innovative. It's give it a try. So we are launching in about a month a new release of Uno that have this Gen AI assistants embedded into the product that will help really the users in creating the workflow, but also in contextually assisting the user in leveraging better the orchestration capabilities in the flow. So again, reach out for a demo and to go deeper into the solution. So this is the summary, right? The Uno orchestration empowered with Gen AI that helps to address really different type of scenarios. generic scenarios like data ingestion, data governance, etc., or fitted into your industry focus, so more for financial services, healthcare, telecom, you name it. We have very different use cases. I think what is important now is to understand how we can empower this solution with really the visibility of what's happening into the system and with the power of a full stack observability solution. So that's on you, Ian.
Thank you very much there, Alexander. So everyone, hello there. Hi, I'm Ian. As mentioned earlier, we're going to talk a little bit about eye control, about business process observability, and how that then fits back in with all of the orchestration that's happening underneath, and how we can combine those two to be able to really get more power out of your business and actually help you move forward. So if we go into the next slide. So let's just talk about what eye control is. If you think of everything that you've heard Alexander talk about, it's happening, you know, within those systems, the process, things are moving around within the from system to system, from application. Now, if you're sitting there and you want to be able to visualize how your business is actually functioning, we need that extra layer, that sits across everything, across all the different applications. Doesn't matter what the monitoring system is that's actually taking place. We want to be able to see how things are functioning within our business, and what are those key critical controls, or we call them targets or KPIs, how they're actually functioning in terms of an end-to-end chain. And to do that, we've built some software for it. And it actually does three very clever things. One, it says, what is that business process that you're trying to do? If you think of a same-day credit transfer, or you think of an order to stock in manufacturing, or a delivery that has to go out from start to finish, all of those are processes which your business is actually running. Now, in business language, they have very little technology in that, because we want to be able to keep it at that level. And then we want to utilize all of the great data that's coming out of the systems. And a lot of that will be coming from the HWA and Uno platform. And we want to link that to the controls that are sitting at the top. And then we want to observe and calculate that, so you can make decisions faster and better. And when something actually goes wrong, you want to ask yourself two questions. Well, does a human need to make a decision, or can I send it back into the automation platform? And if a human needs to make a decision, we want to build an AI model around that and actually help them make the decision faster and quicker. Or we want to send it back into automation and let it get automated back out again. And hopefully we don't have to keep doing that as we go forward. So if we go into the next slide. Now, with eye control, when we talk about observability, there's a lot of data there. So we want to make this smarter. Now, we've talked about using AI and ML. So that comes as a given nowadays. You've got to have some AI and ML built into it, because you need to have the machine learning, picking up the nuances that are taking out and predicting out on the data sets that are taking place. So you've got the observability data, you've got the analytics, and now we're going to actually combine that with the functional business process at the top. And that's your view, that from a board level, from a senior management level, he's looking at it and going, how is the different areas of my business actually working, and how they're performing? And if we put those three together, you get this intelligent business observability. So you can see when things go wrong, you can make better decisions, you can predict out where the failures are, because I've got that AL and ML, so I can see when something's going wrong, what the next thing in the chain is going to be. And at the end of the day, you hopefully are delivering a better service back to your clients. So if we move on to the next slide. All right, time for a poll, yeah. Hopefully I've helped you answer this question, but let's see how we're going. And just for all of that there's no one right answer here.
Yeah, I'm curious, what's your preference, Ian?
So
What's the big benefit?
Yeah, so it's interesting. I was actually quite keen to see. Yeah, brilliant. So it all depends on where you sit in the observability stage of or persona within your business. So if you're top level management, you want to make better decision making. If you're in the IT world, you want improved operational efficiencies because you want to see things going through there. If you're customer facing, you want that increased customer satisfaction. And obviously, if you're down on the ground, you want to be able to be agile in your response to issues. And again, it also comes from the customer facing piece. You want to call that customer before they call you. Generally, customers pick up the problem way before we even see it within the IT and within our processes. And that's what we want to solve for, because if you can see a trend anywhere along in your key critical controls, that's when you want to deep dive and you want to understand if it's an IT problem or it's a business problem. Great. Let's move on to the next slide. So, this is just a nice little view. So if you're on the home page within iControl, you'll see your different processes up there. And then the one on that you can see on the left-hand side is actually a high value payments flow. So you can see that all the controls. All again, if you notice it, it's in just clear business language and what's happening. And each of the controls can be tagged depending on what they may be. So they might be regulatory, they might be reputational, they might be financial. I might want to see all the different processes together. So I might want to, if I'm in a payments area within a bank, I might want to see my financial messaging, my high value, my low value, or my overall of my SEPA payments. Or I may want to look at it from a risk function. I want to see risk and compliance and order fulfillment. But do remember, the data is key. And as we link down into the process orchestration piece, we're pulling all of that valuable data back up to be able to do the calculations to tell you how well you're actually doing. So let's move on to the next slide. Now, once you've got that view of the process in the bottom there, so if you can understand that process, you've connected it down to your applications and your data, you can do amazing things with that calculations. As I mentioned, you've got the high value payments process down there. So you can see that can roll up into as from a business or a business flow view. You can see the different flow views. I can then even take that and I can group that then and say, actually, that all fits into transaction banking. And transaction banking might be in the Americas or Europe or in another area in the world. Or I could split that and have a look at it from a risk and regulatory point of view. All of those key controls sit within an area within a performance of a process flow. If I know where they sit, I can, and when they go wrong, I can deep dive into those much quicker and get down into my applications and my data. That makes joining the business and the IT, it's fundamental nowadays that we start working smarter and quicker within our operations teams. All of this can be done dynamically as you've built the process flow and as you've linked the data and as you've tagged the control, everything rolls up and gets calculated at the right time. So let's move on to the next slide. Now, what we really want to achieve is this enterprise command center, so we can actually see your business on a page where you can see all of your operational compliance controls on one side. Remember, I mentioned that if something's going wrong, I want to be able to get down and I want to be able to build digital twins of the decision that needs to happen. So I'm very much on the operations group where I go, okay, something's gone wrong. Let's say it's a fraud case, which we'll talk about a little later. And I want to be able to send it to my level 4 fraud team. Now I have 100,000 of these alerts. They can only, their capacity to be able to review that is limited to the amount of people that they've got there and how many they can do in a day. So actually I build digital twins of each of them and they can then work 24/7 and the volume can go up. So I'm scaling your business with the same amount of people, but just based on their decision-making within the digital twins piece. So that's the key piece. And then obviously I want to drill down. And when I want to get down into the data, I want to get down into that orchestration layer. And I want to be able to say, do I need to do process reengineering? Do I need to rerun a job that's happening, or I fundamentally just want to see the data that's actually taking place there? All of that's now linked together in our area. One of the big things that Alexandra mentioned there earlier on was the Gen AI piece. Gen AI is also built into the iControl piece here. We actually produce that flow and all those controls using Gen AI. And that is your starter for 10 when you actually sit down with the business. So you don't come empty-handed. You come with really good data and really good ideas. And then you just drag and drop things around on the screen until you actually have actually mapped that process flow. It's gone from doing this over a month to in around about a couple of hours, and you have the whole process and all the controls done. iControl comes as a Splunk embedded app, comes as a Google version, and it comes as an AWS version as well. So lots of different opportunities, and it can run as any container in any other cloud as well. So great, very versatile product to be able to integrate within your landscape. If we go on to the next slide.
Yes, let's see the power of the combination of these solutions together, right?
Absolutely. And I've been mentioning it as I go along there. So I hope people have been following well. So if you think about what Alexandra was talking about, that orchestration piece, underneath the hood of all of your systems, you've got to be able to understand how things are moving around within your between the applications. And you need to be able to control that at a level of precision to be able to ensure that you understand what's actually happening. And then above that line, you want to be able to feed the data up in a very usable format for your business users so that they can understand the decision that they need to make. For them, they don't want to hear that a server or a database or a batch job failed. They want to understand who's affected, what's affected, and how much. And when you can feed that information back up to them and say, right, we've had a failure down there. We know how many users are affected. We know how much value that is as well. They can make the decision to either manually rerun that downstairs, or they can say, actually, let's move on to, calling those customers and offering a discount, or depending on the scenario that actually takes place. But being able to give that data instantaneously between the two systems makes business a lot more efficient, and to retain your customers, over the longevity of your business. And again, if we just come back to regulation stating, if you just think of the DORA controls, you need to understand all of your business services. You need to understand all those controls. You need to be able to test them as well. And you need to be able to ensure that you do not impact your customers in any one of those journeys. That's all important. So if you don't have both sides of the coin, you won't know where the problem actually sits. Great. So if we move on to the next slide. As I said, we're going to take a little use case over here. We're going to talk about how the orchestration piece is working underneath and how iControl is looking at the top. Anti-money laundering, a very nice, easy one for most people to understand. Every bank in the world has to do this now. And it's gone from being a quarterly or a yearly to a monthly to now a daily activity within all, or most banks at least. Well, most good banks, if we call it like that. So if you think of anti-money laundering and the things that have to happen underneath anti-money laundering, so you've got all of the watch lists that have to be loaded from the various different agencies around there. You need to know any of the sanctions that have taken place. You then need to screen all of these customers, and you don't just screen new customers anymore. You actually screen every one of your existing customers against all of the data that you would do a new customer daily as well. Again, this is a big change in regulation that's come across. So those customers, those watch lists. Now, this is just one small activity of anti-money laundering that we've done. And if you think about that, there's lots of potential failures there. If the sanction lists haven't loaded, or the latest versions of the sanction lists haven't loaded, all the batches that have to run to be able to bring those customers in from different regions, match them, everyone that has a name that may come up on a watch list that may be similar or from an area that's on one of the sanction lists, then again, they all get flagged. All of that automation needs to happen in time, and things need to clear. So from a business level, they want to be able to ensure that they're actually focused on moving, let's say, an account from one side to the other. And if someone's deposited some money in there, they want to make sure that where that money's come from. They want to be able to ensure the customer is actually clean as well. It's gone through the screening impact, the screening process, and then it goes out on the other side. And again, if you just think it from a business perspective, if things are picked up in the anti-money laundering screening, they want to know who's affected, what's affected, and how much is at stake all the time that they're actually doing this. If 50 clients get picked up, but actually 50 clients equates to half the value of your bank or your takings for the day, that's a serious problem for you to be able to go and investigate. It could just be an error. You could have loaded a corrupt watch list. So you need to understand where that problem has actually gone wrong, and then you need to feed that data so that you can get to a scenario of going, okay, I know what to do and I understand the problem and I understand how it's going to be fixed as well. And that is a discussion between what IT is doing and what your business operations teams are doing. And those two vision or views of the data, although they look very different, they are very independent of each other. So you need to be working very closely together.
Yes.
Back to the orchestration piece, just as Alexandra said there. Just I just wanted to put it there. Obviously, auto remediation is a big piece. You want, if something's gone wrong, you want the auto remediation to take place there, and that's all built into the orchestration platform that's available.
Yes.
So, you know, great work.
And I would add also. Sorry, I would add also that it's important to have a solution that fits any type of architecture. I think you were mentioning iControl is very flexible also in terms of deployment. The orchestration layer that we offer can also help orchestrate any type of systems. And today for companies, it's important to have a solution that fits with the current architecture and tomorrow architecture that will be more cloud oriented. So it's important to offer also that flexibility.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a very good point for everybody. And what I've talked to you is a banking example. But, you know, we do this in all the different industries. We do this in oil and gas. We do this in aerospace. We do this in manufacturing, retail, healthcare. So it's a very flexible solution. And it's been designed on the latest architecture that's out there. And I think that's one of the key things from an HCL software piece. You know, we've taken the basics back to root cause, and then we've rebuilt them into the latest architecture to ensure that you have something that'll have longevity and it's flexible to fit into all the different systems you have out there. Let's go into a poll now.
Yes. Interesting question.
So I think there's a great question to ask there. And I mean, I don't know how many people out there have been facing the business observability through the process orchestration. There's lots of different tools or people have been talking about from a process mining perspective to be able to, you know, put all your data into one area. We don't believe that that's the right way to do it. We believe you should be free to have data where it needs to be, and you need to be able to easily move things between your IT and your business. So let's have a look. Lack of integration between tools. Great answer for a lot of you there. Inconsistent data across processes. A great answer there, and exactly why we want to bring that visibility in across both the IT and the business piece.
Yes.
Great.
Good.
I think I'll hand back over to Alexandra for the final wrap up.
Yeah, I think if I'm able to move to this last chart. So I think again we wanted to come back to that view of the automation journey, the enterprise automation journey, because again it looks simple, right? When you look at 4 simple steps, but that's complex. Well, all the infrastructure, all the transformation that's the customer going on with all elements that needs to be orchestrated, that needs to be measured. So you need the right solution that when they can work also together, like Uno and iControl work together, you can really achieve business objective, I think. So so we're curious of your feedback and some questions. Maybe we have time for some questions.
We do have time for some questions. That was a great presentation. Thank you. I see there are some people raising their hands. You actually need to ask questions either through the live chat or using the Q&A button. And we will get to your questions now. And I have a couple of questions already in the pipeline from some of our readers. So I'm going to get to that. Alex, can Universal Orchestrator easily scale as my organization's automation needs to grow? And how does it support small, mid, or large scale enterprise deployments?
Sure. Good question. So the Universal Orchestrator pricing model is on the tasks that are executed. So that helps, let's say, from a pricing point of view to start eventually a small and expand where you see the need to. The architecture, as I mentioned, is fully cloud native. So also from an architectural standpoint, it's easy to start small and to scale. So this is really a solution that can be a good fit for small, medium-sized enterprises to large enterprises. So it does scale well.
That's great. Ian, we have one for you too. What is the ROI you see across organizations that are using iControl observability solution?
Oh, good question. So yeah, so you've got to be thinking this in top line and bottom line when you actually look at ROI. We've actually have a brilliant use case with one of our customers over in the US, which they had an ROI of 550% within the first 9 months of actually being able to implement iControl. And that was simply by avoiding huge business impact, by picking up the problem faster and quicker than their customers were. And they had a lot of customer complaints coming in, going, hey, I'm seeing problems. I'm not seeing funds come up in my account as when it be. And they would then have to then dig in and get the IT would be raising issues across the board. And it's fundamentally seeing those nuances in your business that actually helps drive that bottom line or that top line that you're actually looking for within your organization. But again, I think the key is it comes back to those 4 pieces there. If I can identify things quicker and faster, if I can make the decision faster and quicker on top of that as well, and I can avoid that business impact, I'm obviously going to be getting more ROI from the tooling, and I'm obviously going to be increasing my revenue margins that I can do by retaining and actually onboarding more customers. You give customers that how do I put it? That fundamental trust in you, that you actually understand what's happening within your own business, so that when things go wrong, you're there to help them rather than them saying, "Hey, I don't know what this company's doing." You want to be able to be that company that's always on the front foot.
Absolutely. Everyone wants to do right by their customers. We have another question here from Anna, and she is asking, what is the business model that you are offering to collaborate with your customers?
Alex, do you want to start with it? I'll start there. So, I mean, our business model is quite simple. We'll engage with you. We're happy to run POCs, depending on the environment. We can do them free of charge if we are mocking it up within our environments. We can do them within the client's environment as well. We've got lots of demonstrations available of different industry and different use cases. So it is a very, very flexible business model that we offer from an HCL side. We are here to listen to you. We have the software. We know it's working. We've got great references. So the idea is, let's look at the problem that you're facing and let's see how we can actually solve that jointly together. Be it you might be a partner or be a client, we're happy to work with you on that.
Yeah, and I would add we have also partners across different geographies that can help also locally for the deployment, for some consulting or helping to start with the tool. So yes, we can help directly as HCL Software or leverage our partners.
That's great.
or you become a partner of someone.
It's true, very true. And we have another question also from Anna. Will I need to be running your software in real time every day? Do you integrate with SAP? Do you have process performance info in the tool, something like process mining, and most importantly, how to improve or optimize the process?
Yeah, let me start with that. Then I think Alexandra can add to it as well. So firstly, you want the software running. Depending on the business rules and the controls that you've had is how often it's going to pull to be able to pull the data to update. So if I'm running a monthly report, I may have cycles of my reports. I may want to pull it out at different times within the month to be able to see that it's on track. If we're talking a data consistency and a quality area. If I'm running real-time payments, I want to be able to see where I am, every minute of the day. I want to be able to see it. So it's very, very flexible. It does not need to be 24/7. It can be scheduled. So it's a very flexible system, and we've designed it to be as less intrusive as possible. It works with all the different monitoring tools that are out there. We integrate with SAP, obviously. We have a lot of manufacturing clients, and SAP is one part. If you think of an end-to-end journey, SAP just sits as one piece within the puzzle. So you want to be able to see the whole journey. You need to be able to see everything before and after SAP as well. So that's important as well to be able to do. We are not a process mining tool, and I think that's quite important because process mining, quite expensive to be able to bring all of that data into one big database, and then you want to be able to link things together. We've not seen a lot of value in that. It's quite expensive to do. We believe we are there for a process performance. So we will set up the controls and the process, and we will pull from whatever data source that you have available. So we make this very efficient for yourself, and it's obviously a lot cost effective as well. Yeah. And when you use the combined solution and you're using the orchestration underneath, obviously everything is fully integrated as well. So you get the power of two to there. Alex, anything from your side?
Yeah, I think I want to reinforce this message because it's not about process mining and doing consultancy over the processes and brainstorming on how to be creative in fixing problems, etc. And I mean, I'm not a process mining expert. I don't want to be too negative on it, but I think where we're good at with our solutions. So the automation orchestration and I control solution is that we execute things. We use real data, really what's happening into the systems. So the layers and the indicators of measurement and recommendation type of engine that we offer to execute and to show what has been executed to the customers, that's really the source of truth that can then be optimized. So I think this is a big differentiator that we have in our solution.
Yeah. That's a good point.
And obviously, I just want to add one more point then. Obviously, is once you see where the breaks are, that's when you're going to spend your money to actually then go and do process reengineering or more automation. So a lot of people think, oh, we need to do automation, we need to do reengineering. Well, let's first understand where the problems are, because you don't want to start in an area where actually you have very little problems. You want to get that, as we spoke earlier on, that ROI. You want that return on investment. So let's find out where the actual problems are. We have all of the tooling in place there to be able to then initiate the next step of the puzzle. But first understand what the lay of the landscape looks like, and then move forward from there.
Good point. Going back to basics never hurts anyone. Anna is thanking you for your answers. Thank you for your questions, Anna. We also have someone anonymous who wanted to know, once we have orchestration set up and it is up and running and something breaks, what would be the turnaround time to fix the tech in orchestration?
Well, it obviously depends what breaks, right? Because I don't know, there could be some elements of I don't know, the databases issues or something that could be problems that need to be fixed by also other teams rather than some errors in a code or some missing elements. I think what is important in the orchestration is that and I think that's also an element that can be interesting with the combination with iControl, is really to identify the type of issues that an organization has, so that there can be a definition of the model with some backup plans, some backup options, or the fast reaction. So the possibility to coordinate the execution of processes task or IT task with, for example, some ticketing systems that will help to really rapidly or eventually proactively alert that they are risk in the system to match an SLA. Those type of orchestration scenario we can offer with our solution will help a company fixing problems fast. So defining generally how fast we can solve problem is kind of difficult. We should have a follow-up discussion to look at what type of problems you have and giving a better answer. But the offer helps to have different options in the system to make that downtime most limited as possible.
Yeah, let me add something. I know we're running out of time here, but the question really is, when does it need to be fixed by? Because, and that's the key thing when you combine the two, the iControl from the business side and you combine it from the IT view. Something's always generally wrong downstairs. There's always something failing somewhere along the line, and your IT guys are generally working hard to be able to keep the lights on. The question is, when do the lights need to be on? So if, let's say, I'll take a very simple example, same-day credit transfer. If it's gone through the system and we've cleared at 4:30 and the bank's busy doing reconciliation at that point, and one of the payment systems goes down, from a business perspective, they don't mind you taking as much time to go and fix the problem, as long as 8 o'clock the next morning, it's available and ready to be able to take payments again and process them. So understanding when things need to be fixed is very, very important. And the importance is it one client? Is it 100 clients? And is it one client of 20 million, or is it 100 clients of 100,000? It makes a lot of difference in the decision and the timing that needs to happen. So that's why that view is very important of the different controls and the impact, and then the decision, the right decision, because there's a lot of things, and people always go, well, prioritize for me. Well, let's make the right priority call there and then fix the right things at the right time.
That's good advice for life, actually, not just what we're talking about here in process excellence. Nahar is asking, and Nahar, if we don't understand exactly, please do clarify, but I think I understood. Integration relies on how partners are cooperating. Having a notice that some organizations are having existing systems, I think he's talking about legacy systems here, things that have been in place for a long time. And the question is, how flexible is HCL in addressing such matters? You know, how does it work, I believe, is the question with the legacy systems, and how flexible is it?
I'll start this and then I'll hand it to Alexandra, because we'll take the top-down approach. So once you've mapped the process end to end and you have all the key controls around there, then it is connecting the data. Now, we've never had a problem connecting data. It doesn't matter how old the legacy systems are or where they sit within the organization. That's never been a problem from an iControl. We are as flexible as possible. We're as open as possible with the API area. But what you will see is, and as you're quite right, you will come across certain areas where you will have a gray box in the middle, because some areas saying, I don't share my data, or it's run by an external party that just doesn't want to share their data. Once you start showing those views up to a senior management people, and they look at it, they're going, oh, I can see everything that's happening, and all of a sudden I can't see something, and then it goes on and it moves forward. The decision gets made pretty quickly to tell them to go and share their data. So it opens up those conversations very, very fast when you bring that visibility. And that's what observability is all about, to say, I can now observe things end to end. So from the business side, once you actually have it mapped out, you can see where the data is coming from. People generally open up very quickly because it's in their best interest to be able to say, the problem doesn't sit in my area. I can see everything's processed, everything's gone, it's moved on. So, and then when you go down a level, obviously that's Alexandra's area there, and I'm sure they've got a very similar approach to this.
Yeah, because if you think about so the different, I mean, there are different aspects of response. One is about the systems, right? Our solution will work with agents that can run in different type of architectures, or in a serverless type of orchestration. So without really an agent, leveraging more event-driven type of architecture, etc. So the solution will be very flexible to map with different type of architecture. I think it's I mean, yeah, there are different flavors of the answer. Maybe we need maybe some follow-up for me to respond better also.
Well, there is a little follow-up. Nahar has followed up a little bit, and they said, mainly this is about the right of access on systems. Some systems monopolize the access for themselves, and that costs to obtain permissions. Anything you wanted to add knowing that?
Yeah, I think this is, well, you need a safe environment. The orchestrator need to be able to manage the rights and accesses system by system, right? It can be a solution that require you to open the access to everyone, and that create breach of security. So this is where, I mean, our solution are super secure and have the security granularity that helps really to handle part of the automation in with their scope of access, so that the data, the users, the credentials to access to one system and to another is completely protected, right? I think another element that is important, because we offer our solution also in a SaaS architecture and SaaS service, and very often the customers are worried about where I'm moving my data, right? The orchestration layer will use the plan. So the plan is an anonymized, an anonymized view of what needs to be executed into the system. It doesn't enter into what's really the data that is manipulated by the automation. So this is another element that provides some guarantees about the secure access to systems and data.
Absolutely. And on that, we're going to have to wrap things up today. We have come to the end of our time. I'd like to thank Alexandra and Ian for a great presentation. And audience, thank you so much for your participation and your questions. If you have more questions that haven't been answered, please feel free to connect with Alexandra and Ian or myself. We'll make sure everyone gets in touch with who needs to get in touch. And join us again October 22nd for the All Access Digital Adoption webinar series, and again in November for the All Access OPEX series. Bye-bye for now, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. Thank you. Bye-bye.